Absolutely. Well, good morning. Thank you for joining us this week. It is our weekly real estate backstory. We do this every Monday morning, kind of start off your week with all the comings and goings, all the things happening in the real estate world. So my name is Alan Rich. I'm the managing broker here at Maximum Realty and Realtor Partners.
My name is Ming Richardson, a compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
And we want to jump right in. So, last week, NAR put out their real estate forecast summit, and in there they shared some things happening in the market, and even though we talked about some of them at the sales meeting last week, I did want to kind of highlight on a couple of a couple of points that they bring up. And so kind of one of the first ones is that Americans are moving much longer distances. And so we know that folks, because we're moving so far, we need to make sure that we have set up a good referral network for agent referrals.
Absolutely.
As well as we need to make sure our social is looking really, really good, so that when folks are searching in a particular area, they can find you. Second one is that baby boomers passed up millennials as the biggest force in buying. They have been a big force in selling for sure, but the bottom line is because so many of our boomers
are downsizing.
Well, not just downsizing, but they have a lot of equity. They're selling their homes and they got tons of equity. And so they're coming in with cash offers or really large down payments and large amounts that they're putting down. So that's one thing to definitely be conscious of. New construction is also a really bright spot in our market. It accounts for about 31% of our total inventory right now. So we've got to be really
huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And then no matter what, inventory is still probably our biggest pressing issue when it comes to that. We just don't have enough homes, and I'll show you some slides here in just a minute on that.
And everybody's hoping the interest rate will come down because it's probably as high for a very long time.
Yeah, and it went up again, a tick up again this past week. So, interest rates are tough. But we wanted to also kind of talk about something that's much more timely and specific to our industry here. And so this is a question that Ming and I both get asked quite a bit. And it's something we just kind of wanted to share our insights with you on. And the first thing, and the topic is, how do you revive a stale listing? What do I do when my house when my listing isn't selling? What can I do to revive it, to make it like go like new again? And so first thing is
CMA.
I need you to go in and redo your comps. Redo your comps very well. Like don't go in and set a specific price. Make sure that the market's telling you what that price should be. Absolutely.
Because you may see a reduction in the neighborhood or a sale price that's way below than yours because the other agent listed at where the market will bear that sale price. I will also include expires to show your client, hey, these property lists for this price comparable to yours, and now they have expired. And that's because it's the market will not bear it.
Well, an expired listing, another word for it is just overpriced, right?
Yes.
And then does your property have the same features as all your comparables? Is it from within the subject neighborhood? Sometimes we pull comps, and even though it may be a half-mile radius, that neighborhood next door is not going to carry the weight for your subject neighborhood. So, and then just make sure that we really are comparing apples to apples with it. We've had some folks who are like, well, the house down the street sold for $440. Well, it has a fully finished basement and you're on a slab, right? And so like these houses don't compare. That they had 1,400 square foot more than you did. So we have to be able to explain that and stand up for our values.
Right. And sometimes it may be a secondary income, a producing basement. So it all depends on the situation.
Yeah. Next up, please make sure your photos are right. Did you use a real estate photographer? Or do you end up going cheap and just trying to take it with your iPhone kind of thing? You can always tell. Like you can tell which listings that where the agent used a real estate photographer and which ones where they didn't.
Listen, for a long time, I was vehemently against a real estate photographer. And now I see the value just because you know what? With our buyer pool, the way they operate, they will look online first before do anything else. If you can't even get your foot in the door with a photo, how are you going to sell this property?
All right, next up, have you reviewed your feedback? Well, part of that starts with, are you in and utilizing showing time, right? I mean, like your clients, absolutely, all of our clients really love showing time. So we need to be taking advantage of that because that's a great technology piece that our clients love. It's going to give you and your clients instant feedback. But go
Absolutely.
back and review the feedback that you have. And then how about your listing description? I see so many listing descriptions that are like boring and no one wants to read. Like sometimes it's just painful, like 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, it's just so like consider using Chat GPT. We talked about it in the sales meeting. Like make sure your listings stand out on there.
Well, ChatGPT, be careful, even though you put those features on there, make sure it is describing the property, because sometimes ChatGPT will
Describe people. It will
glamorize
violate.
it.
It'll
It will
violate fair housing.
glamorize
Yeah.
it. And what happened
Yep.
is that it really doesn't match property, and you don't want to let clients come in expecting something and then not have it.
Yeah. And then have you checked out the staging? Are you looking at the staging and how the property actually shows when clients go and look at the property? Probably should do that before the photos, especially if you're going to retake them. And then reassess your marketing. Like are you on Facebook, Instagram? Are you doing agent to agent? Have you done agent blasts, that kind of stuff? How about open houses? So all these are things that you can do to kind of revive
Yeah, because sometimes we
a
have
listing
agents
that's struggling kind of thing.
in our own office ask for other agents feedback, just because, you know what, they're out of their wits, and sometimes it takes a fresh eye to look at those.
Yes. All right. So starting next week, we have the Tom Ferry Summit, which is a really, really big deal. Okay. We love the Tom Ferry Summit. We do it every single,
this is our eighth year
going on doing the Tom Ferry Summit. Some of our offices are already sold out. You're going to get 6 hours of free CE each day. You're going to get breakfast and lunch served for you. And you're going to get just an amazing array of topics. Now, the content is different for all 3 days. And every time that we do this, I end up leaving with like a big yellow pad full of just notes and ideas and things. And Ming's like, all right, back off. We can't do everything, right? And so, but it's also, it's a really positive experience. You will come away like overflowing with ideas as well as motivation. I just can't talk highly enough about it.
It's like being revived.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look for something that will help you with your career, these are professional experts that are in the market. They're not prior agents, they're current agents that are extremely successful, and they're telling you what they're doing to make a difference.
Yeah.
Join us.
Yeah, please do. Please do. And you can sign up at mx1training.com. All right. So Zillow just did a study on colors in homes, and they went through, and they're a huge data analytics company, and they went through and analyzed which homes sell for more and compared on just the colors. And so gray kitchens and pewter gray kitchens sell for around $2,500 more than others. Actually, white walls sell for $612 less than grays do. And so that's a pretty interesting one.
That's a trend right now, but
it's
like anything else, it will change.
But like a lot of times,
right now it is hot.
Well, but we also have to, like one of the great things I love doing is not going necessarily on a listing appointment, but actually just going and talking to my clients about what can I do to prepare my home to sell. Because most of the time it's going to take them months or a month or so just to get the home ready, and they want advice and guidance on what colors should I use. What should I do here? Is this worthwhile, updating, repairing, changing, that kind of stuff? And so understanding that right now, grays are really a big deal. Grays, depending on the bedrooms and bathrooms, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's adding somewhere around $2,500 compared to others. Whites, unfortunately, are not. So white walls, I don't mean the color of the cabinets, but I mean actual walls are less desirable. And then, mid-tone grays are doing really good kind of across the board. And then a door that is a mid-tone like rosy brown brings in an extra $300. So like just those boring front doors, which is a pet peeve of my bride here, they just don't fetch as much. And so in that same study, they looked at what is the cost recovery on interior projects. And so the number one is to refinish hardwood floors. That's always going to be the biggie out there. Or installing new hardwood flooring. That's 118% return on investment. It's really good.
The hardwood floor, I actually see more and more luxury vinyl, which is more durable product that looks like wood.
But nothing feels like wood. So,
I know that. But it's also the maintenance on wood is a lot more. Insulation upgrade, 100%. Basement conversion, 86%.
Well, that one's a really good one because, you're adding more square footage. We have a lot of folks that want multifamilies and things like that.
You still have, due to COVID, there are people still doing teleworking, which they're having a space in their house strictly for work.
But now exterior projects, it's just about maintenance. The number one cost for covering outdoor remodeling projects, cut your grass, right? I mean, like standard lawn care service, landscape maintenance, overall landscape upgrade. Before
outdoor kitchen.
Then we move into outdoor kitchens. And now we're getting in, but when you look at cost versus benefit, just maintaining your property is the best thing you're absolutely going to be able to do as far as like being able to recover the cost out there. Yeah, I think outdoor kitchens are great. They're also going to be kind of pretty spendy.
Spendy, and also if you don't do enough of it or enough entertainment outdoor, they do deteriorate much quicker.
Well, they're outside. Yeah, exactly. Now, the share of U.S. homes worth at least $1 million has reached an all-time high, and so we have a lot of homes reaching $1 million. And even here in the Atlanta area, in 2022, 3.5% of all the homes in Atlanta were over $1 million. Now 3.8. So that is increasing, but that's really kind of a product of what's going on with overall values. So when people say, "Gosh, when's the market going to crash?" and that kind of stuff, it's not, like it's not going to crash. And so right now, this is the total net worth of all U.S. real estate. U.S. real estate kind of across the board. And so a rising ship lifts all tides. So at the same time, it may be neat to see an article talking about more $1 million homes than any other time, but realistically, like property values are continue to increase. And so the best time to buy is always 5 years ago. Right. But we have to understand that like this is why people, well, not the reason, but one of the reasons is because property values continue to increase over time. And so the longer you spread this out, the more that on average, property increases by about 4.4% a year, has for the last 50 years. And so we will have some years where maybe it's up and down in there through that. Everyone remembers the 2007, 2008 time frame, but gosh, if I wish I had bought in 2006 right now, because I'd be sitting really, really pretty, right? So it's always going up. But at the same time, guess what? Home values for millennials has now passed the silent generation. The silent generation, they're our oldest generation. You would figure they would have much higher home values, but no, it's the millennials who, boomers and Gen X are higher, but overall we're seeing the millennials are starting to increase. And so part of that's just due to the number of millennials we have out there. But then where are home values really holding up the best? Suburbs and rural. And we've seen this trend already going on, where we've seen there's been a shift where folks have been moving out into the urban areas, into rural areas, small towns. These things have been doing there's been a kind of a migration going on.
About an urban area, you gotta if you're looking at for investment purpose, or urban area, it's a long-term investment.
It's not about investing, short-term. But by the same token, it is following our migration trends right now, and even more so, homes that are so. Even though we started talking about the $1 million homes between 250 and 750 saw the largest increase in value. By far, that was the biggest, the group who saw the greatest increase. So we are seeing a lot of property values increase. We are continuing to see price, especially here in Georgia, right? There's some markets in the U.S. that have fluctuated a lot, but in Georgia, we continue to see property value increase. We're looking to probably end up the year probably around 11%, which is a little bit higher than I really want to be. I'd much rather see us at about 4 or 5. And so, but all that will level off and adjust. But right now, for the vast majority of our homeowners, they're in a really, really great place. But
once again, ownership, wealth.
Yeah. But that being said, right? Is it a good time to buy, or is it a bad time to buy? And so right now, like 82% of folks say it's a bad time to buy, and only 18% say it's a good time to buy. And so we know that what fuels that, Ming?
Interest rate,
So
the
mortgage,
lovely interest rate.
so mortgage rates have gone up for the third consecutive week, and we've been.
I don't recall, and I will tell you, I've been in the industry since 2005. I don't recall the interest rate being this high ever.
Well, it actually has been. It was higher in November of 2022. It went up to 7.09 in November of 2022. Other than that, we had to go at 2000.
Well, I meant, okay, let me retract, meaning this high within a short span of time, because in the past, we may see 6.5 being the highest, but in recent year, we have seen it jump so high
Well,
that it's
I'm with you, but like
bill.
one of the things that we're having to kind of go through, I guess you'd say, is that for the first time, the U.S. government debt rating has been downgraded, and see,
And that's a huge, huge.
When you're talking about U.S. debt, they're talking about U.S. treasuries, and mortgages follow the 10-year treasury. And so so seeing how we've never downgraded our debt rating, it's hard to be like, oh, when our debt gets downgraded, 10-year mortgage rates or 10-year treasuries go up or 10-year treasuries go down, because it looks like they're having to go up in order to be more competitive at this point. And so that's driving now where that really falls and how that's going to work out. Everyone is still saying across the board the interest rates will be dropping. We just haven't seen it yet.
1 year change is 1.74. That is a huge gap.
Big time. Absolutely. Now, at the same time, what's that causing mortgage applications to do?
It went down.
It went down. Yeah, everything that's in the gray over there.
So if y'all see some mortgage company having shifts, changes, consolidation, this is why, because they have more LO out there than they need at this point, because the application are not coming in.
But interest rates will be falling, and one thing that we want to be, like so many of our clients come to us for just overall financial advice. And one thing that we need to be conscious of talking to them about is credit card debt has now topped $1 trillion for the first time ever. Like credit card debt's never gone over $1 trillion, and now it is. And for our down payments, for the vast majority, like 80-something% of down payments come from savings. And so if
you look at this really quick, during the pandemic, because we have nowhere to spend our money, guess what we did? Well, we paid off our debt.
We also had a lot of stimulus money, that kind of stuff.
So we have extra money, nowhere to spend it. We paid off our debt. And when the pandemic is pseudo over, you can see where all the entertainment, traveling are coming, and that's where your debts are.
So we just need to be the advice, like sound counsel, good advice for our clients about, listen, we need to be working down that, because your debt to income ratio is also going to make it really hard for your clients to buy a home.
It is. And, honestly, your client needs to concentrate. As I told my agent, all the good buyers with good credit, money to put down, already bought a house during pandemic. So now we are left with folks that may be credit challenged because the incurred debt or no money down payment. So, you need to talk to your lender about DPA programs as well as other incentive, Georgia Dream with EMT and what have you. So talk to them.
Exactly. Now, one thing that we are still seeing property values increase. So just looking at national numbers, we're seeing overall property values still increasing. It's even higher here in Georgia. But what are we doing with pending sales? So overall, pending sales are down about 12.6, 12 to 13%. And that's where we've been trending. And actually, we're trending better than we have been. And so everybody wants to say, man, things are down, things are down. What I really want you to look at, especially on this graph, is yes, we're down from 2021 and 2022,
which is a unicorn years.
Right. But like when you look at 2017, 2018, 2019, we were in there and doing, like during this time, even in 2020, we the pandemic, it wasn't abated, but we'd gone nuts with buying houses kind of thing. And so like everyone's like, oh my goodness, pending sales are down. When you look at historically based on the averages, we're really not
We're
that, I
actually
mean,
right on target of pre-pandemic.
yeah,
While
yeah.
around that
yeah,
time.
right around there, absolutely,
Exactly.
kind of thing. Now, what isn't there is newly listed homes, because this is another one that even during the pandemic, look where how many new listings of homes are on the market. We're at an all-time low. We have less homes, I mean, and
We
less
have
new listings coming on
We
the
have
market.
less new listing, but we still have the same pending number, so that tells you the inventory is
It's
shrinking.
continuing to dry up, right? And so here's where our total listings sit. So, the previous slide, that was where our new listings are. Look where total listings are. We are
We're
under
shrinking.
every year. And guess what? We have a rising population, and we have a positive net inflow of folks moving into Georgia. So like inventory even though mortgage rates are definitely affecting us, inventory levels are what's killing us right now.
Mhm.
So 44% of our pending sales are still under contract with 2 weeks, because you can see there's still a lot of demand, and there's still, I mean, we're selling 11,500 homes every single day. And so please don't get into this idea that, oh my goodness, things are going terrible. Look, pending sales are actually trending up. At the same time, we're selling on average our homes in 28 days, but we still have a pretty high percentage of listings that have price drops.
And that's because a lot of sellers feel like, well, my neighbor sold this. Well, the problem is that you never sold this price about 6-7 months ago. Guess what the interest rate was doing? It was lower. So what happened is that the neighbor buyer could afford that at that price point, but now they can't, because at the end of the day, the buyer's monthly mortgage rates still have to be the same.
Yeah. So overall in the Atlanta area, active listings are down about 9%. New listings are down over 20%, and our price reduced properties, like 16% of our properties are taking price reduction. We have got to be setting our prices realistically. When you do, people will buy. But the idea of just, I'm going to throw it out there and everyone's going to fight over it, that's not the market that we're in right now.
And sometimes even though with a shrinking inventory, sometimes even though you may have a comp on the neighborhood, but when the interest rate rise, it still drop your buyer pool.
Yeah.
And that price point.
So where is the average, or what is the average cost of a fixer upper in every state? In Georgia, the average fixer upper is $210,000. And so if you work with investors and they're like, hey, I'm looking for those $100,000. I'm looking for homes at $100,000.
Sure, it'll be pretty much a mold down property.
Well, but understand that the average fixer upper. So when somebody says, look, I'm looking to buy fixer uppers, and they say, okay, and I'm like, all right, what's your price range? 100, and really I prefer under $100,000. Not realistic, right? The average fixer upper for the state of Georgia is $210,000. Now, that being said, the best markets for flipping in the United States, first is Macon, Georgia, second is Atlanta, Georgia. So, compared to a lot of other states, we're in really good shape. But like the idea of, we get calls at the brokerage all the time. Hey, I'm looking for $50,000. I'm looking for homes under $50,000. I'm looking for deals. I'm looking for a list of bank.
It's
not realistic.
Rehab. Sometimes it's easier. You're basically buying it for the land value.
Yeah, tear downs, that kind of stuff. All right, I want to kind of move over into, is there a place for pocket listings and for sell buyers? And so they really are, but I want to share some information with you that comes from two multiple listing services in the United States here. And so the first one is from out in Nevada. And so they went and did a sales price impact study and said, for properties that are on the MLS versus properties sold not on the MLS, properties on the MLS sell for 17% more.
While
an average of $55,000 more.
And I want to tell you, while the seller trying to save that 3% on the listing side, because 9 out of 10 they'll honor the buyer side, they're losing 14% based on the study. Well, that's a lot of money.
It's a big deal. I mean, it was the exact same thing that Bright MLS, and it's so funny because both MLSs did this study almost similar. One's over in around DC, the other's over in Nevada. And what they found, guess what, is 18% on average is what the average property sold off market versus the average property who's sold inside the MLS.
Not only that, there's so much turbulence when the seller trying to negotiate with the general public. And you know, one, you're talking about forms, and two, you're talking about turbulences, safety. I mean, and also who's following the loan on the seller side? Nobody.
Well, but we like to give like realistic information about the average. So I mean, if you just look at this, the average for sale by owner that's not on the MLS is selling for $63,000, you know, $50,000 to $60,000 less than the average agent assisted transaction utilizing the MLS. And so, you know, the MLS is a powerful tool for us. It still is, you know, like there's all this turmoil going on about who's doing what with commissions, what's happening with the MLSs, but understand this is a very, very powerful tool for us to utilize for the benefit of our clients as well as ourselves. So remember, accountability is every Monday morning in all of our offices. So hopefully you know you're jumping in. Don't forget to join us at Tom Ferry this week.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, it is so
That sounds
important
good.
that we're doing that.
Take a break.
Yeah. And then this week on just as far as like our CE experience. So we have On Your Mark, Get Set, Go over on Wednesday, and on Thursday, Your Home, Your Values. And so we have 2 different CE classes coming out this week. So
Come join us.
please. And if we can, and again, remember, next week is Tom Ferry.
Not this week.
Not this
next week.
Next week is Tom Ferry. We hope to see you in all of those. And gosh, hope you have a wonderful week. If we can be any service, please call, text, or smoke signals.
Thank you, and y'all have a wonderful Monday.
Bye now.
Take care.